Welcome everyone to my channel. My name's Jack Taylor and this is English Not Permitted, the only channel on YouTube dedicated entirely to cinema and TV shows from the non-English speaking world. Today I'm talking about a French film, Sommet of the Gods, or in French, Le Sommet de Diuex. I don't speak French. Je suis désolé. So this is a French animation film, and it tells the story of a journalist in Nepal who is approached by a mysterious man offering a camera. He claims this camera is from George Mallory, one of the first people to try to attempt to climb Mount Everest. Now this is a real person, and it's a real story. Maybe he was the first man to climb Mount Everest. We'll never know if he actually succeeded or not, but he had a camera with him, and this may prove whether he was the first man to climb Mount Everest or not. The journalist named Fukumachi is desperate to find out more about the man who approached him to try and sell him the camera, obviously wanting to know if there's a real story there or not. So he begins to find out more information about this guy, whose name is Habu. So he goes to find the people that knew him and revisits his past lives to find out more about him. Long story short, this guy was a dedicated climber, obsessed with reaching the highest peaks, sometimes at the cost of the safety of others. It turns out 7 years previously, Habu had disappeared off the face of the earth to those who knew him in an attempt to climb Everest himself. That's all I give you in the spoiler-free part of the video. So there was a lot to like about this film. I think for one, the animation's beautiful. It's done in a kind of Japanese manga style, and that, it turns out, is because it was based off a manga comic made in the 1990s. Now, I don't read a lot of manga, so I was unfamiliar with it before watching the film. And one thing that kind of disappointed me a little bit about this film was that knowing this was a French film, I was disappointed not to see more scenes of France. It still took place in Japan. I feel like a lot of anime and a lot of manga is done in Japan, so I've seen that before. What I was expecting and what I thought might be more interesting would be an anime film set in Europe or set in France to see that kind of take on it. In fact, I was kind of more impressed recently with the film I Lost My Body, which is also a French anime, but this is set in Paris, and I thought that was a much more interesting and unique take on the anime style. However, the film does look really beautiful, and even though I've seen these kind of scenes before, it doesn't take away from how nice it looked. One thing I thought was really special that the film did pull off is, with it being a hiking film, but an animation, I didn't anticipate the sense of vertigo I was going to get from some of the scenes, especially some of the action sequences. We see in some of these scenes, they're mountain climbing, and in one scene, there's a bit of danger, there's a problem. They still managed to get my heart pumping, they still managed to get me nervous. It was as though I was watching a film with real live actors or a documentary. It made me nervous, it made me sweat, and that's an impressive feat for this film. So at this point, I'm going to talk about some specific things that happen later in the film. So the spoiler-free part of the review has now finished. So I want to talk about the character arcs. I thought Habu's character was quite interesting. I thought he was a little bit cliche with his obsession to climb mountains. We've kind of seen that character before in other films, and I thought it was a little bit silly, you know? Disappearing from the face of the earth and never speaking to his family or friends again seemed a little bit over the top. However, one thing I did like about his arc was in the scene that I just mentioned, when he cuts the cord loose for the boy who's dangling and lets him die in order to save himself. I thought this was a really big moment. I kind of wasn't expecting it, especially killing a child. For some reason, killing a child always seems to make me respect the character more in his determination to complete his goals. Maybe that makes me a sicko, but I gotta be honest, it does. But I thought it was a nice character arc, how by the end of the film, he goes back on this ruthlessness and he saves the reporter Fukumachi in order to kind of save his soul kind of way. And he shows that his goal wasn't the most important thing. I did like that this film was made by Netflix. I like to see that they're investing in foreign language cinema. I've spoke on other videos before how I think that's the way Netflix maintains their competitive edge. I also think it's a really easy way for them to do that by investing in animation. I'd like to see more animation from around the world. It'll help them to stay ahead of their new competitors in Amazon and Apple just by investing in these markets and making sure people in these markets are watching Netflix. But more importantly, that people like us, we get to see what a French director can do with animation. We get to see what a Greek, a Brazilian director can do with their animation now. Because I want to hear these stories told from all around the world. And I truly believe that that's where Netflix maintains its competitive advantage in the future. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. My name is Jack Taylor. This is English Not Permitted, the only place on the internet to talk exclusively about foreign language film and TV shows. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Au revoir.